Hello and welcome to Canter Banter. It's an action-packed programme for you this month coming from the Bath and West Show, which is hosting round 3 of the Renault Jump Series. Action from that later. We're reporting also on Britain's success in the Samsung Super League and Nations Cup Series, plus action from the David Broom Event Centre, which hosted the European Junior and Young Rider Trials. As always, there's plenty of chat, and that's where we start with a profile on Marlene, owned by partner Claire Beecroft and ridden by Jeff Luckett.
Very straight, very honest, and you know, whatever you point her at, if I point her at a double-decker bus, she's going to jump it. So from that point of view, that takes a lot of the hardness out of it. She is a big horse, but she just didn't grow. You know, she's long, she's got a big head, but she's just small on the size where she measures. She's a superb winner. I mean, she wins speed classes. She's won some decent classes abroad. Always wins the class. Always pays the diesel money. You know, she's a reliable horse to have on the wagon. You know, she's a bit erratic, as you'll probably see from the tapes, but she likes to jump quick. I mean, one, it stops her bucking so much, but you know, her jump is a little bit loose in front. So the quicker the motion is, the quicker the legs come up, so she doesn't leave them quite so long. So everything suits her about going quick. When she goes in a speed class, she actually wins them at Canter, so it's actually taking no effort at all. You know, whereas when she moves up to the bigger classes, she takes on a more quality horse, and so she has to work a lot harder. So, I mean, I think last year she won 25 classes and, you know, never noticed it. So we keep her to the class that suits her. She rants and raves and goes on, but I just tend to ignore it. She thinks she's causing a lot of trouble, but she doesn't cause that much trouble. And the funny thing about Marlene is at home she doesn't do it. You know, you can put any Claire rides at home, we jump sets of fences and never does it. It's just, you know, the tension of the ring, she just enjoys it and wants to get on with it. She's entertainment, you know, if she's at the top of the line or the middle or the bottom, she's still entertainment.
Jeff, we've just seen the profile on Marlene. She's still in great form this year.
Yeah, she started off. She's won 2 classes already out of 3 shows, and you know she's my top speed horse. And with the diesel going up in price, we need her.
I'm sure she'll keep winning. Now we also see you jumping in the Grand Prix and also in the Renault Series throughout this season on Pjort. Why Pjort, not Marlene, in these big classes?
Marlene has won a couple of Grand Prix and things, but she finds the speed classes so easy that she runs around, she wins, you know, X amount of money and actually trots off as if she's never jumped anything. Whereas if you jump in the bigger ones, you know, she has to have a little bit more pressure. So we're looking to make her last a bit longer.
And what about the attributes of Pjort?
Pjort, I mean, has everything. You know, he's fast, he's careful. Soft ground doesn't perhaps suit him a little bit, but you know, he's a serious winner.
And it was Jeff Luckett and Pjort who picked up maximum points the first scoring round of the Renault League in Devon, finishing ahead of Kent's Guy Williams. And this is what it's all about, the new Renault Koleos. That goes to the winner of the Renault Series, the final at the Royal Berkshire Show later on in the season. We're into round 3 of the series so far, and well into the second season as well. Joe Stevenson joins me, Regional Communications Manager for Renault. What has been the reaction in this second season?
Well, it's been absolutely outstanding. The first season, obviously, which we set together with the BSJA last year, far exceeded our expectation. The second season, which we're now into our third round, as you rightly say, Renault are absolutely delighted. It just keeps going from strength to strength.
Highlights from round 3 of the Renault Jump Series later in the show. In a few moments' time, we'll be taking a look at the action from the Super League in Rome, where the British team were in action. But part of the British team this year for the Nations Cup was Laura Rennick out in Copenhagen. There is a difference, isn't there, Laura, between the Nations Cup and the Super League? Just explain to us a little bit about the differences.
The Super League is really what we'd call the Premiership of show jumping. The horses and riders that go there are really the elite in the country at the moment. The Nations Cup, which I've just been on, is a stepping stone for both horse and rider to hopefully get to the next level, almost like First Division football, just trying to make your way up to the Premiership.
In the 7th round of the Nations Cup in Lisbon, Tim Gredley, Philip Spivey, Charlotte Platt and Robert Whittaker, riding under the team champion banner, took an outstanding first place.
I'd love to get on some more teams purely for my own experience and for the horses. I think it's invaluable. My horse is only 9 years old. She's been very successful the last couple of years, but really now I'd like to step her up and see how far she can actually go, and me.
With the Olympics just a few months away, all eyes are on the performance of the British senior team in the Samsung Super League.
Fresh direct call out to my partner. in the top international events. She's got a tremendous character. I mean, just a little bit of history. She broke her shoulder 2 years ago, 2006, in a jumping accident, and she was off for just under 7 months. Her first show back was Olympia, and shows the testament of her courage and character that she came, and she was by far the leading horse of the show. She was 4th in the World Cup, 2nd in the Grand Prix. She's a real fighter, and it's not about just ability. They've got to have a character that is very, very strong, and that says, I'm going to jump that fence and I'm not going to knock it down, and I'm going to try as hard as I can. We call it ambition, and she has tremendous amounts of ambition. She's got a lot of heart. Really looking forward to the next few years with her.
And Tim had a fantastic run out in Rome, jumped 2 clears on Fresh Direct Colato alongside his teammates, the 4 teammates for Great Britain out there in Rome, alongside Michael Whittaker with Suncal Portofino, Robert Smith with Ronaldo, and John Whittaker with Pepper Mill. Well, John also jumped double clear as well, with Great Britain finishing on a total of 8 faults after the second round, joint with the United States of America, also on 8 penalties, which meant they went into a jump-off. A rider from each of the teams, Great Britain and from the United States, going head-to-head over the track. Well, for Great Britain, they pulled forward the maestro himself, John Whittaker with Pepper Mill. And for the United States, it was Will Simpson with his ride. Will Simpson went round first and had 1 fence down, 4 faults for him. So it was down to the anchorman, to John Whittaker, to take on the track. Will Simpson there looking on. You can see the tension all the way through. The honours in all of the Super League competitions. Very, very prestigious, and certainly a lot at stake. John, cool as ever in the jump-off, had to jump clear to take it for Great Britain. A position he's been in many times before, and just a very short time ago was the winner for Great Britain at the British Round at Hickstead, which comes up later on in the year. John produced one of the best performances of his career, and you can see the disappointment from Will Simpson. John's overall performance meaning a win for Great Britain at the Piazza di Siena in Rome. The presentation being made to the British team. Tim Stockdale there, you see, alongside teammates Michael Whittaker, Robert Smith, and the man of the moment, John Whittaker, who sealed the deal. Team manager there also, Derek Ricketts. The next leg was in St Gallen in Switzerland, where the British team finished in 5th. Very different team of Tim Stockdale, Ben Mayer, Peter Charles, and anchorman again, John Whittaker. Eventually finishing behind the Dutch, who finished in top spot, who now head the table with Great Britain currently in 3rd behind the USA.
We've got a great pool of talent out there. We've got riders at the top of their game and with the experience and maturity, and then the younger riders coming through, Ryan Prater, Matt Sampson, Dan Nielsen, Alan Whittaker, Little William Whittaker, but you know, these are riders with world-class talent, and all it needs is them to get the right horse to be able to go and challenge for international honours. So we've got a huge amount of talent within our sport, and it just needs nurturing and pulling forward.
Matt Sampson was one of those junior riders hoping to impress the selectors at the recent European viewing trials held at the David Broom Event Centre.
All the way around, you were thinking about everything. In a lot of courses we jump, you get to have a breather. Like there's a normal fence which you're not going to have down, whereas today was every fence and took jumping.
A terrific performance from Matt over 3 days on a difficult course designed to reflect the challenges faced when competing at international level. As the best placed British junior rider in the final day's Grand Prix, he earned automatic selection to the Accenture Junior Young Rider Squad, chosen by Mike Florence and the team of selectors.
Dan Nielsen.
Dan, individual silver medalist at the European Championships last year in the juniors, and alongside some previous gold medalists from the pony ranks as well. And there's the confirmation of the initial squad. Also competing were the young riders up to 21 years of age. Nick Brooks-Ward and British team coach Corin Bracken are the commentators.
Now here's a lady who has enjoyed tremendous experience being based with the great Emil Hendricks in the Netherlands, Hannah Paul, for the last, 6-7 months?
That's right, yeah. Hannah took a year out from Young Riders last year. She went off and did her own thing, produced this horse slowly because he was just a youngster last year, and she's now had some fantastic results in the international shows abroad with him. Look at him, he's keen, he's strong, he wants to jump those fences for her. They've got a great partnership going now.
Quicker than Chris Smith.
I think she is. I think she's a little bit quicker.
Certainly is. 42.94 is the time to beat. She's done it.
Yeah.
She's done it. That's a good round. Hannah will be very pleased with that. 39.20 goes into the lead. Certainly going to take some beating. 39.20 now. Well, Emil Hendricks, he has trained some of the world's greats in show jumping, and you can see the experience telling with this young lady, can't you?
Yeah, and Hannah's obviously delighted with that. Big pat for the horse.
Big pat.
She'll give him a big hug and a kiss when she gets off him.
So Hannah Paul wins the Young Riders Grand Prix here at the David Broom Event Centre.
We have come up with a list of 13 for our squad, the biggest we've ever had. First is Hannah Paul.
From the squad, the elite will be chosen to compete for Britain at the European Championships in Prague, which take place this July, in a wonderful lineup that includes last year's gold team medalist Gemma Plumley, who also took individual bronze. Well, the squad named for the European Championships for the young riders and the juniors. Part of the gold medal winning team last year and fourth individually, Georgie Strutton. Georgie, how's your career moved on since then?
Good. I've actually got a different horse to compete this year in the bigger classes called Wonder Boy. He's actually been doing most of the county shows and going very well at them. He's here today in the Renault jump class.
And going on from the Renault jump, you picked up points at Devon. The ground conditions here have been tough, lots of rain. How does your strategy alter?
My horse actually doesn't mind the rain or wet ground. He's not actually fussy about what ground he jumps on. So I hopefully jump the first round clear, which would be nice, and then see what everybody else does in the jump off.
Well, Georgie, the very, very best of luck. All the action from the Renault series coming up after the break. Welcome back to the second part of Canter Banter. We're here at the Bath and West, one of the biggest agricultural shows on the circuit. We're going to turn our attention now to round 3 of the Renault series. And with flash floods and 9 inches of rain falling over the previous 2 days here at the Royal Bath and West, conditions have been far from ideal. It's been a difficult time for riders as they've been deciding whether to rest their international horses or go for points that could be critical later in the series. A difficult show too for the course designer.
Mainly we pre-plan before the show normally. In these circumstances, we literally go out the night before we build, have a walk around the ring, see where the good patches are, tear the old plans up that we had, and make a few little sketches. I usually work backwards in these situations so that I can finish either somewhere near the water or somewhere where there's a good bit of ground for a combination, and then really work backwards. And you just have to build with the ground. It makes it a lot more hard work, not just for me planning, and obviously for the horses and the riders, but the arena party and everybody. Instead of bringing things in on tractors, everything has to be carried from the side of the ring, where we'd normally use a lot more variation of kit because we can't bring tractors in. Again, the plans for what benches we're going to use, we have to consolidate and just work around the conditions. So it does make a lot more hard work for everybody, but we get through. In Touchwood, we've had some good jumping for the conditions that have been here so far. So let's hope it holds out for the rest of the show.
Devon County winner Jeff Luckett with his horse Pjort. Well, they had one down over the muddy ring to finish on 4. Laura Rennick also with the in-form Limelight de Brave also had one fence down to finish on 4 in the first round. Georgie Strutton on the Mudlark, Wonder Boy also taking the first part of the combination down to finish on 4. So that's the lineup for the jump off. 5 forward, Laura Rennick with Sabletto and Guy Williams double-handed. Well, we've headed to somewhere we don't usually see, the commentary box here at the Bath and West. Two very well-known voices on the circuit, Mike Tucker and Nick Brooksward. Mike, you're preparing for a big class now. What are the last preparations?
Well, make sure that we've got the rider biogs, got all the up-to-date detail, know the details of the course. And of course, that's in these sort of conditions with the rain we had here, changes. So we just need to update the last-minute details that make it interesting for those out watching, really.
Well, the process during the class, the judges sit just next door to us here. They'll be calling the faults, we'll be watching the rounds, and one of us will take the competitors in, the other one will take them out, and we'll keep the crowd, because there will be a big crowd for the Renault, but there was a massive crowd here last year, and it's just a question of keeping them up to date and keeping them as involved as possible. Little snapshots of what the riders have done or what the horses have done, or just little background insights, I think. And we take all those clear.
At the end of the day, it's theatre. It's trying to make it entertaining. And I think as much as anything, the bit that I feel we've got to try and do is make it interesting for those outside, and a little bit of the background of, you know, what make people tick, really. And put that together with the skill of the jumping itself and try to portray what is involved with that skill is, for me, what we've really got to try and put over.
The end of the water, not too big this afternoon. First prize, £7,500 total prize fund here this afternoon. Well, as Nick says, it's big prize money here at the Bath and West. Laura Rennick, in fact, came through with Sabletto, a horse she's been very consistent with. She's been having a great season so far, winning the two-star international trial at Suffolk just a few days before this, and also the prestigious Matty Brown Stakes at the Newark and Knott Show, alongside that performance out in Copenhagen. This could be a quick one to set the standard from the start. And that goes. So it's going to be 4 hours. And the conditions certainly telling. Slip in the mud. Thankfully, both of them up and okay. But Laura Rennick eliminated on Sabletto, as you can see. She's not very happy with that one. But I'm afraid it looks as though conditions out of her hands. Just another look at this one. Comes down to this big spread. Feeling the ground a little bit. Takes that one down. Goes to go for the turn. And just slides out from underneath her. The feet disappearing out from Sabletto, but as I say, both up and about, both okay, which is great news. They'll be back for another day, even if a good bill at the dry cleaners. So it's to Helen Treadwell now, opportunity B. She had her problems, the refusal at the combination also knocked down the timing you'll see there. Sadly, under the rules, that means elimination for her. Well, to Jeff Luckett, also part of the jump off, this time with Monline, a horse he's had great success on, including winning the big Grand Prix at the Quainton Stud last year. Big crowd, as Nick said it would be, for the Renault Series here at the Royal Bath and West. So Jeff Luckett sets off. I think they're going a little more carefully now after seeing the slide over of Laura Rennick, and there's still plenty of space left in the field at the moment. Great chance for Jeff to move this horse into the league tables. Remember, it's horse and rider combinations, so his first win on Pjort will give him some very good points, and this a chance to move him up the leaderboard in the series once again. You can see Jeff now taking on that turn. Turns quite tightly but doesn't take it at too much speed, being economical all the time and looking to set as good a standard as he can by that method, that strategy. Now the turn up towards the final few on the course. This is a great chance for him to move up. Takes that one on the angle and now moves up the gear towards the last fence. Takes that easily. Oh, and it goes. It goes, so that'll be 4 for Jeff Luckett. And Monline puts them into the best of them so far, though, and a time of 60.73. Guy Williams then double-handed, the last two to go in the jump-off, both his rides. So a great strategy point from him. All he's got to do is jump clear under these conditions on this first horse. And then his second gives him a great chance to move up the Renault Series table. Goes first on Pibelia. This is the horse he finished in second down at the Devon County. If he can take this round, then it'll certainly move him to the top of the Renault Series table. Taking it a little carefully. Going steady so far, but just trying to put one or two little turns. He's not looking for speed. He's looking to shave off all the little bits of the course he can
to make his time up that way. But he's not got too much to worry about. He's only got to jump clear on either one of these, and this round goes to Guy Williams. But we've seen the problems so far from the earlier riders, things that can come up. The slip of Laura Rennick, the elimination of Helen Treadwell. Little slip there, you see. Just got to be so careful. 2 to go. Again, he's giving himself a little bit of space to this one. Takes it on the angle, though, to shave a little bit of the time. Goes up the gears going towards the last, but doesn't want to do what Jeff Luckett did and have it down. Jumps it clear. It's good enough for Guy Williams and Pibelia. So they take top spot with a time of 65.54. And in fact, his second ride after that, skipped to Ramiro, did a very, very similar round to finish in second. So first and second to Guy Williams, taking him to the top of the Renault Series table. The presentation there, Joe Stevenson presenting to Guy, and a very good win for him under not the easiest of conditions.
Definitely the first round is try and jumper clear. If you can be the quickest, it's definitely beneficial, as you saw there. And then try and win it.
Well, you've picked up a whole glut of points here at the Bath and West. Does that alter the strategy for the next few?
Yeah, definitely. I've aimed probably better at this. She was second at Devon. She's won here. I definitely went slower on Skippy to make sure she had the maximum points. I'm going to try and win it this year.
I'm very pleased with Monline. He's not a quick horse. His main feat is to jump clear rounds, but he's got a little bit better the last week to turn him back. And I thought if I didn't have a little bit of a run up the last two to put a bit of pressure on Guy, he was going to find it too easy. And unfortunately, the last went, which was a bit of a shame. But really pleased with the horse in the conditions that we jumped today.
Well, we've had a fantastic day here at the Bath and West. It's coming to the close from the Renault qualifier here, but we're looking to ahead to a few weeks' time. We've got a great fun day coming up, including that on show. It's the Jump with Renault Day. Joe, tell us a little bit about it.
Well, it's a show jumping extravaganza at the David Broome Centre in Chepstow on the 22nd of June. Everybody welcome. It's going to be a family day of entertainment, first-class show jumping, cars versus ponies in the mounted games. Wonderful day out. Just register interest at renaultjump.co.uk. Everybody welcome.
Well, a wonderful day to come for Renault. And that brings to a close everything from the Bath and West here today. Lots more to come in the next month, one of the busiest months on the show jumping calendar. Join us again on Canter Banter.